Watch this interaction. A simple, polite gesture of help is offered in a quiet room. In the fraction of a second after the offer is made, the recipient doesn't smile or relax. They freeze. A biological paradox unfolds. The brain's insula accurately registers the warmth of the gesture, but that signal bypasses the prefrontal cortex and immediately triggers the amygdala, the brain's threat detection center. For this individual, positive affect cannot be safely processed. Their nervous system has adapted to historical environments where kindness served as a precursor to danger, a setup for disappointment, or a down payment on an exhausting obligation. The neurological alarm system fires visible signals in the extremities. The distress signal from the amygdala locks the jaw muscles and forces the hands to grip the nearest object just a little too hard. The perceived threat of human connection triggers a full survival response. The heart rate spikes. Pupils dilate to scan for danger. Cortisol floods the bloodstream. To survive this influx of activating emotion, the nervous system downregulates the positive input. It builds an immediate psychological wall to maintain internal control and prevent the destabilization that warmth threatens to bring. The rational brain moves too slowly. The prefrontal cortex cannot process the contextual safety of the room fast enough to override the amygdala's deeply ingrained survival associations. Accepting warmth requires neurological elasticity. A regulated system must tolerate a sudden spike in positive activation without immediately calculating the probability of loss. Without that elasticity, the recipient's brain resolves the cognitive dissonance by rewriting the narrative. A genuine offer of help is reinterpreted as a hidden demand, a manipulation, or a subtle attack. The gesture is stripped of its soothing qualities. It lands on the recipient as an exhausting emotional obligation that they must now manage. This looks like a rejection of the person standing in front of them, but the withdrawal is a defense mechanism deployed strictly against the overwhelming internal physiological sensations the warmth evoked. This creates a biological trap where individuals repel the exact interpersonal connection they consciously crave because their body codes it as a hazard. Kindness functions as a highly activating biological input that actively destabilizes nervous systems optimized for survival over connection. Move to a different environment, a sterile conference room. Here, we see a dynamic of overbearing help being forced upon a passive recipient. Weaponized kindness describes the application of good deeds and apparent compassion strictly as a camouflaged mechanism for behavioral control. The recipient's response is a compliant smile that is mechanically incomplete. The mouth muscles pull upward, but the ocular muscles around the eyes remain completely unengaged. This muscular configuration signals the pleaser adaptation. The individual is existing in a state of chronic parasympathetic immobilization, driven by a terror of losing connection. This behavior functions entirely as a biological survival strategy, an act of preemptive submission containing zero genuine altruism. Watch the subtle physics of the body. While the head executes a series of agreeable, compliant nods, the core of the torso is slowly, imperceptibly pulling away from the source of the kindness. The placator adaptation differs from the pleaser. Its physical signature is a quiet, highly compressed internal rage, perfectly masked by outward agreeableness. For the placator, niceness serves strictly as camouflage to avoid confrontation or punishment from individuals who have historically been violent or unpredictable. The placator system receives an act of weaponized kindness only to convert that input immediately into hidden resentment with no safe outlet for expression. These neurobiological adaptations strip the individual of healthy interpersonal assertiveness and the capacity to enforce safe boundaries. Manipulators frequently pair this vulnerability with gaslighting, using their own apparent kindness to override the recipient's internal alarm bells and forcing them to doubt their own perception of reality. The trap tightens with guilt-inducing kindness. By performing unsolicited favors, the dominant party establishes a power imbalance, locking the compliant individual into a leveraged cycle of emotional debt. The giver transforms spontaneous compassion into a strict transactional currency, minted specifically to exploit fragile, heavily defended nervous systems. Surface-level agreeable behavior often masks deep, rigid neurobiological survival adaptations that leave these individuals vulnerable to calculated exploitation. Look at this final interaction. An individual operating from a state of parasympathetic safety, displaying genuine generosity, is engaged by an exploitative partner. The generous individual is caught in the empathy trap. Human empathy functions as a narrow, easily manipulated spotlight, rather than a broad, objective floodlight. Consider the baby Jessica effect. In 1987, a single identifiable victim falling into a well triggered a massive mobilization of empathy, manpower, and heavy machinery. Global attention and hundreds of thousands of dollars in capital were directed entirely at this one highly visible, deeply compelling narrative. Just outside that media spotlight, thousands of children died globally from preventable causes during those same hours. These were the statistical victims, ignored by narrative-driven empathy, because they lacked a single broadcastable face. Biological empathy is inherently enumerate. The brain cannot intuitively distinguish between the emotional weight of one suffering individual and the abstract suffering of thousands. The bars show a massive spike in resource allocation directed towards singular anecdotal distress, while the line representing statistical, systemic suffering remains nearly flat. Rational compassion corrects this biological flaw. It shifts focus from the emotional spotlight to data and cost-benefit analysis, funding highly scalable interventions, like distributing mosquito nets, rather than chasing the most emotional story. Bring that dynamic back into the room. An exploitative individual recognizes a giver operating with unregulated spotlight empathy and steps into that light to extract value. The dominant individual drops their fake attentive posture the exact millisecond the transaction stops providing them with a benefit. The generous individual is left physically isolated in the space, temporarily paralyzed by pathological altruism. They cannot process this sudden behavioral shift because their nervous system falsely assumes that mutual compassion is the universal baseline for human interaction. This mechanical failure occurs because a nervous system wired for empathy and connection is fundamentally incompatible with a system optimized solely for extraction. Without the structural integrity of rational boundaries, empathy becomes a biological vulnerability that actively invites and sustains exploitation.